All right, so let's do. We skipped the dad jokes for a little while. We hop back into
It's
that.
time to be
for-
funny again.
Time to Well, you're funny. I'm just tagging along. So, want to go first or me?
You go ahead.
All right. So, what does a thesaurus eat for breakfast?
Oh, I don't know.
Synonym rolls.
Sounds delicious.
You had an English background, right?
I do.
You do. So that's a funny one for you.
Diction is very important to me. All right, so I just want to let you know, if you are up late at night and the cows are sleeping, it's past your bedtime.
It is. It is past your bedtime.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah,
I thought it was going to be a cow tipping joke.
Yeah, I pivoted.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us here. We are in pollen season.
Oh, it's the worst.
Full-on pollen season, which does mean things are getting warmer and nicer, though. You got to take your lumps. Yeah, like if it's going to be nice,
every year I
coming.
fight through this 3 to 4 week stretch, and it is so mostly my eyeballs.
Yeah,
itchy. But that means that it's going to turn the corner soon.
It is. Yes. So we're slow rolling. Last night,
80-degree day this week.
We're supposed to. It's supposed to be nice as Easter. It's supposed to be a good day.
Love it.
So I'm to the point now where I may have to take like a shower before I go to bed these days because if you're outside, like it's just on you.
Luckily for Christmas, I got a spray foam adapter for my power washer. So washing the cars nowadays is really fun.
Oh, washing the cars.
Highly recommend.
I thought you meant washing yourself off before you went to bed with a power washer. Like, man, you're a tough guy. Holy, it's like a bear out here.
Teflon skin. Yeah.
Good tough guy. All right. So let's get into business because I think with the warm weather, this is gonna be so cliche. With the warm weather is the warm market, or the market's warming up.
Yeah.
That's such a terrible transition, but let's go with it.
So it is a little bit delayed this year. It felt that way.
It felt that way. My numbers feel that way too. But now they're starting to spike back up, and we're seeing more and more listings hit the market. And so we have to get our buyers ready because rates aren't going anywhere. I'm not going to talk about that because no need. It's going to be where it is. But you have to be prepared because we're starting to see more open houses.
Yes.
Agents are out there getting multiple offers on houses. So what are some things that you're doing because the buyers will reach out and be like, "Yeah, I'm just kind of seeing." What is the first thing? What do you do with them? Like you start down crunching numbers. What's the first step? Make them feel more at ease about the process.
Well, so if there's 15 things to talk about,
there usually
some lenders or banks or whatever will talk about 2 of them.
Yeah.
And then they'll just let the rest of it unfold across the process. And there's just too many surprises in terms of understanding the full picture of your numbers, or even giving advice. I think a lot of lenders out there are hesitant to give advice, or just strictly can't because it's maybe a call center. They can't. They just say, "Hey, here's your rate and your payment, and
good luck."
Yeah. Or they won't even give you numbers until you're under contract. So the benefit to working with us, and I think you should seek this out, whether it's with us or otherwise, is someone that's going to give you advice on the products that are available to you and maybe kind of steer you in a certain direction. We had one recently where we started out with USDA because it was a great product, found a house that wouldn't go USDA, so we flipped to conventional. Then the property, even though it had some issues, was still very competitive. Then we flipped to conventional with down payment and closing cost assistance so we could strip out the closing help.
So it changed 3 times?
It changed, the product changed 3 times within a 48-hour period.
Now, the other part of it too, like in the contract itself, once you go under contract, there's still adjustments can be made as long as you're doing it early on. There's an alternate clause on page 2 on my end that says as long as you can adjust or change the loan, as long as it doesn't change the terms of said loan. So if it pushes your date back, that's an issue. If it changes what's being done in the appraisal, that could be an issue. But if you're doing USDA and need to switch over to conventional, as long as you're early in the process, it can happen.
And in the past, that has ruffled the feathers of sellers and listing agents. If, let's say, you go from a conventional to an FHA loan, and they might just assume that it's some sort of red flag. And I've had to go to bat for the buyer and say, no, this just fits their profile a little bit better.
As long as it doesn't change the terms. Now, an example I'm going to give, you and I sat down recently with some buyers, and we actually pulled up a couple of homes that they had seen online, And we went over very specific scenarios, and you gave them the numbers,
Mhm.
and I walked them through like as if you were to make an offer in the house. We're not going to. We're just sitting down and doing numbers. It would look like this, and then it would look like that, and then this would happen, and this would happen. So we actually walked them through step by step. And I went over some scenarios of things I've seen in that neighborhood. Like, yeah, this like might happen. The crawl space maybe. And you know what? We went really granular with that scenario, and they felt great. Like at the end, they had a lot of questions, and they have a really good understanding now that we're out looking at homes.
I think
They
that's
had a way fewer questions now because they really hammered home a lot of good stuff up front.
100%. There was a lot to talk about with this couple. It's their first time purchasing a home.
Yes.
There was an element of maybe they were going to get a gift. How do we do that? What type of home can I purchase with this loan product? Where do I want to be monthly payment wise? But also, how high can I go? There was just so many things to talk about. And then it was really cool to do the consultation with you,
Yep, it was
because
fun.
a lot of times when I sit down with a client, I will say, hey, it's my opinion that this might happen with the house, but check with your realtor. Instead, you had the tag team of, I can talk finances, you can talk houses, and we can speak freely and honestly with these people. So if you would like that level of service, we can do it anytime.
Anytime.
Come right here to where we are right now, or we'll go to Billy's office and we'll sit down, we'll do that. And it took an hour, and it was the best thing that I could have
It was
done.
fun.
Yeah.
Now, he and I have also in the past made a buyer video series too, if you ever want one, where step takes you step by step by step, how the process would look. Of course, it's abbreviated. You get it in your email every 2 days. Obviously, the process takes longer than that, but you get the idea of what's next and what's next and what's next. If you want a copy of that too, it's great.
Yeah.
So you try to make them feel better. You try to get them in. Now, let's talk about those buyers that have the house that they have to sell. What kind of conversations are you having then? We've talked about this in the past, but I think it's coming up more and more and more because a lot of these buyers have equity, but it's a matter of timing and how do they pull it out? Do they even use it?
Yeah.
How do they use it? So what has that conversation been looking like right now for you?
The menu of options in that case is probably
big.
5 or 6 bullet points,
Yeah.
which is, I think, step one. Can you sell your house and move into a temporary living situation so you can go fully non-contingent, meaning your funds are ready to deploy, the house is already sold, and your new contract is not only non-contingent, but also you have that cash ready to be really competitive. It's not just, hey, I have the cash to put my down payment.
Yeah.
It's, I can be a little bit competitive. We can, go cash above appraisal, blah, blah, blah. Bridge loans. Leveraging with financing on that house they currently own, rent backs, and then you just have your raw contingent offer. But we always put that at the bottom of the list because if it's a good house, the contingent offer is tough. Have we had contingent offers be accepted? Yes. Then the stress is on you as the seller to get that sold within a short period of time. It happens sometimes, but that, those are your options. There's probably more I'm missing. But we'll go down, and it's almost like a Venn diagram of each. What are the pros and cons here? The con in the first instance is I have to find a temporary living situation. Do you want to move back in with mom and dad for 3 weeks while you find another house, or longer?
Or stay at Tim's house.
Stay at my house.
Just put it in the big RV in the backyard.
A lot of kids, but they're nice. And so I think the type of house that you're selling, the type of house you're buying, the area in which you're purchasing in, all of those play into whether or not Billy and I will lean you in one direction or another.
Yeah. And then, of course, temperament, right? We really gauge your personality. Like, I get more out of reading their faces as I give them the options than their answers.
Yeah.
Right? So if I'm like, oh, you did it, and they're like, then does not. We have clients right now where I know the buyer that's trying to sell. I know his, the pressure. He's not going to like the pressure. He's not going to do it. And I started steering directly out of that. Like, I don't think that's the way you should go because I know the pressure is going to be too much for you.
I've also seen where you present hey, can you move in with mom and dad temporarily? Yeah. And the husband will go, yeah, that's fine. And the wife's like,
so there's options. There's way to do it. And there's like Airbnbs and stuff too in the neighborhoods. Like some of those temporary, do you need like a month? Some of the times you can reach out to them and be like, I just want a month. I just want 2 months. And those types of houses already set up. You can put your stuff in storage. Those kinds of things work really well.
And correct me if I'm wrong. You can put a rent back. Yep. Seller requires rent back in the listing. Can you not?
Yes. Seller's right to choose. That's an addendum as well. And there's a lot of options. You want to get like some of those pictures taken in advance. You want to get yourself prepped and ready to go. All of those things are really easy steps.
Yeah. And a bridge loan. We'll talk about a bridge loan. That's basically, I have a ton of equity in the house I own. I want to tap into it and roll it over to the new purchase. We've all done one or two in those scenarios, and they work out. They work out great. You
Yep.
just have to have a really significant amount of equity in that first house and be able to manage the payments that you're taking on in that scenario. But that's a great option too. We can send you numbers for that and see if that's something you want to do.
And now I'm going to pivot our conversation. You mentioned it earlier, but I'm also seeing a lot of parents. The boomer generation has a lot of equity or no mortgage at all. And I've had a gift of funds come up frequently. I think I have 3 right now where the parents are stepping in and giving significant help to the payments. What is required? Obviously, you want to be notified right away, so you know.
Yeah.
But what do they need?
So it's really documenting the gift being received, who it's coming from. It has to be somebody that's close to you, a family member, and we have to certify that it's a gift, not a debt. So they just sign what's called a gift letter. Hey, I'm John Smith. I'm Joey Smith's father, and I'm going to give him $50,000 to buy this house. Boom, done. They wire it. The father will wire it directly to the title company. We get a wire confirmation. It couldn't be easier. We just want to know about it ahead of time, because sometimes if we don't, that's you're taking them on their with the word that they're going to give that money. Sometimes they'll put it on the pre-approval letter. Hey, it's a conventional loan. It's great. They're putting 20% down, but a portion of that 20% down is coming from dad, contingent upon receiving a gift, something like that. So we want to know about it so that we can properly set expectations for what's needed. You're right. So Billy attended a conference that my company put on, and one of the things that was said at one of the panels is the amount of wealth and equity that the generation above us has, and they are willing to help the next generation buy either their first home or that move up home. Maybe they have a couple grandkids and they know that their child doesn't have the space for their grandkids, and so they're willing to help. So have the conversation early and often, and it could be something where it's a temporary gift.
So 2 questions. One I get a lot is that you don't do any checks on the parents. Like they don't have to have background or credit checks or any of that stuff. They just gift. And then 2, would it be smarter to have the parents move the money first into the children's account instead of a letter? Or both?
It's all personal preference. So if they move the funds into the child's account, we're talking father and child, but it could be brother, sister, whatever. Let's say they write them a check for 50 grand and they're like, here's the 50 grand. You buy a house in a month or 2, then you have it ready to go. We will see that deposit come in and we'll just want a copy of the check from the dad or the mom. If they want to wait and say, wait till you find the house, you go under contract, then we send the money directly to the title company. That's where it's going anyways.
Yeah, it is.
So it's almost leapfrogging the borrower or the buyer in that example and going straight to where the funds are going to go anyway. So I always give them the option. I go, what's your preference? Are you I hate the word boomer, but some people are like, I've never wired funds in my life. And I go, neither did I till I bought a house, right? So they're like, I don't want to wire. Let me write a check. That's fine too. Yeah.
So there you go. That's a lot of the trends we're seeing right now. We're seeing a lot of houses that are in good shape in the north end of the county moving fast. So if you're a seller and you have some equity and you want to be the next buyer, just be prepared. If you have your parents helping you out, make sure you're prepared. The rates are going to be where they are, is what it is. I would even say the only scenarios, and you're seeing a little bit different than I am, we talked about it a little earlier, is the only scenarios where I'm seeing a little negotiating room are houses that are older, maybe beat up, need some improving and updating. That's the only scenarios where I see. So you're willing to get your hands dirty. I think there's some opportunities for you right now. I think the trend is people want to move into a done, ready, finished house, and those are seeing multiple offers, not like 30 or 40, but 2, maybe 3.
Sure.
If you're willing to get your hands dirty, you might be able to get a deal. You might be able to get some equity built up in your home. It depends on location. Like you had some examples where that was not the case. It was still multiple offers, but
yeah, I think that this particular house that we talked about, the investors in this area could see the potential in this house, so they got involved and it drove the price up a little bit. We talked, I think, on the last video about how each region is different, and I talked about Northern Virginia as being very competitive. Well, I just got a contract today. It's in Alexandria, and the client it's a VA loan, and the sales price was $500,000. They took it to $512, and he got closing help. And it was that's a very mild, even reasonable. Keel, reasonable. That's probably the right word. Seller and buyer working together. So it's really, we can't make blanket statements about the market because it's house by house, it's region by region, zip code by zip code, and it's day to day.
Yeah. Yeah, we just try to cover some of the trends and some of the things we're
Mhm.
seeing out in the field. So it makes it easier for you to kind of be prepared for some of the things that you're likely to see.
Yeah.
And if you have specific situations, obviously you can reach out or DM us or whatever, text, whatever helps. And we can answer specific questions, but it's a matter of like the trends that I'm out in the field seeing and the trends you're in the trenches and you're seeing. So
Sure.
helpful.
Yeah.
All right, man. I think this market's going to be picking back up. I think the summer's going to be really awesome. I think we're going to have nice, steady. It's not going to be gangbusters, but it's going to be pretty steady and strong, I think.
Well, I think right now it's about effort. We're going to pour into you as our clients if you become our clients. We're going to pour into you to make sure that you're very, very educated and ready, and you're going to feel so empowered to go make that first
That's
offer and
it. Yeah.
second, third, or fifth offer. Just know that even if you lose the first or the second one, that you're doing the right thing and that you feel knowledgeable.
Yep.
I hate to see a scenario where somebody loses an offer and they go, "Well, why did I lose it?" We still don't even know why. At
Sometimes
least
you
we'll be
will.
able to explain to you like, hey, that was wild. I didn't expect this house to go 40 grand above at list price. I wouldn't advise you do that anyways.
Yeah. Yep. So there you go. That's the information. If you need anything from us, let us know.
Yeah.
We
We'll talk
have
to you soon.
the food truck festival is coming up May 10th on our end. So
Mhm.
that'll be all proceeds, all money goes back to STEAM, which is Calvert County Engineers and Arts Programs. So it's a fun one and it's a delicious one. So that's
Love
May
eating.
10th.
I love food.
It's great. Awesome one. So, all right, Tim. Thank you again for this week.
See you, buddy.
Stay out of the pollen, and
Oh,
we'll see you.
yeah.
And we'll see you next month for May.
See you guys.